Hey guys, Sue here, and I'm back with my April wrap-up. I'm going to try and keep this kind of quick because I'm filming this on my iPad. So a really good month. I read 23 books, 2 of which were rereads. A lot of these were manga, so hence the large number. The first 2 books I read were for the BookTube Manga Club, and they were Akagami no Shirayuki Hime, which pretty much translates to Red-Haired Snow White, and they're by Sarata Akazuki. I'll insert some pictures. Supposedly like a retelling of the fairy tale Snow White, although I didn't see very many references that I recognize other than a poisoned apple and the prince. We follow Shirayuki. She is wanted to be the concubine of a prince, but wants nothing to do with that, so she, because of her red hair, is very fascinated with her red hair, so she cuts her hair, runs away, ends up running into another prince by the name of Zen, who helps kind of hide her and brings her back to his kingdom, and there she's sort of training to become the new pharmacist for the kingdom. Pretty good story, I guess, overall. Like I said, nothing fantastic. I think the most that I loved about this was the artwork. It just had fantastic artwork. I was only able to read this online because I can't find an English translation anywhere, but yeah, the artwork was probably the best part of it. I don't know that I'll continue it, but the first 2 volumes I did give 4 stars to. Maybe one day I'll pick it up again. 2 small little novellas from the Doctor Who 12 Doctors, 12 Stories box set. First one, First Doctor by Owen Colfer. This one I gave 2 stars to. I'm not a big First Doctor fan. This was when he was only traveling with his granddaughter Susan. The storyline was just kind of meh, you know, nothing really exciting. The Second Doctor story was written by Michael Scott. Really liked the storyline. I love the Second Doctor when he's paired up with Jamie McCrimmon, the Scottish Highlander, like he was in this one. Great story, really great rating. I gave that one 3 stars. Then I read the 3rd book in the Newsflesh trilogy, entitled Blackout by Mira Grant. This is sort of a zombie story that doesn't have a whole lot of zombie action in it, but still a really good story. It follows a vlog team, the end of days, after the end times, I think is what it's called. That's the name of their vlog, and they are kind of investigating kind of a conspiracy behind this whole virus that started the plague. A virus thing was created to cure the common cold, another one to cure cancer. Somehow they mingled and created this zombie plague. But there's some kind of hidden information or something that people are trying to keep from getting out. There was one little aspect with regards to 2 characters in here that I found kind of disturbing. I didn't like that. I don't know why that happened to be in there. But other than that, I think I really enjoyed the story. I give this one 4 stars. In case you're wondering, I'm looking down, I got my notes here. Then I read a classic from my childhood. This was Pippi Longstocking by Astrid Lindgren. Real thin little middle grade book, full of illustrations, and it's about this little girl named Pippi who lives alone, and I had kind of forgotten why she lived alone. And as I read the beginning, I thought, well, how sad. Her mom had died. Her father, who was a captain of a ship, had fallen overboard. She does not think he's dead. She believes he managed to float to an island of cannibals. Why she would picture cannibals as a place that he would find safety. But that's where she thinks she is, and he's now king of the cannibals, and as soon as he builds a boat, he will come back for her. So she's living in their house next door to a boy and a girl, Tommy and Annika. And they kind of end up going off with her on these weird adventures. She's very much like the manga character Yotsuba, in that she gets a lot of things kind of mixed up. She hasn't had a lot of schooling. It's just really, really delightful. See if I can find some of the illustrations in here. Now when you want them, you can't find them. But she's really strong and really goofy and just fun. She's a redhead with ponytails and freckles, and it was just really, really delightful, kind of reliving my childhood. I gave it 5 stars. Then, speaking of Yotsuba, I picked up 2 more volumes. I read volume 4 and volume 5. I gave each of these 5 stars because they are just awesome and fun and so sweet. In volume 4, I think this is the one where she, let's see. Oh yeah, this one she goes fishing in, and craziness ensues. And then in 5, they end up going to the beach, but before that she ends up meeting one of her father's work assistants or something, and the 2 of them do not hit it off very well. It's like like a boy and a girl, a small little boy and girl fighting over things like ice cream, and no, you did this, and they kind of keep tricking each other, and they're arguing back and forth, and it was just totally hilarious. What's this guy here? kind of an adult, you would think, but he doesn't act like an adult. And I was just cracking up. She ends up shutting the door on him, and lots of goofy things. But they're just so fun. I really enjoy them. Another kind of fun, light manga I read was Nisekoi False Love, Volume 4. We have Raku here. He had given a locket to a girl when he was really young. He can't remember who she is, what her name is. He holds the key, and they had made a promise to each other when they met again they would unlock the locket and be married. Just an old promise. He's now like a high school student. His father is the boss of a gang, and another boss gang is trying to keep the two from fighting, going at all-out wars. So they create this false love agreement between him and the other man's daughter, Chitoge. So now he's locked into this sort of relationship, or pretending he's in a relationship while he still has a promise to somebody else. And he's also has a crush on a girl in school by the name of Onodera. Then there's other girls that keep popping up, and there's questions as to who might actually be the girl from his childhood that has the key, because more keys are showing up, more girls are showing up. So lots of intrigue and confusion, and you wonder where it's going to go. I gave it 5 stars. And then on a darker side for manga, I read a whole bunch of the Drifting Classroom series, volumes 3 through 8. This is described as a post-apocalyptic horror classic, and horror it is, definitely for mature readers. Lots of violence, lots of weird things, as this school, after an earthquake, is sort of transported into the future. It's drifting, you might say. And Sho is our main character. He is sort of at one point, an unofficial leader of the school. And I think it's in these first 2 volumes here. Let's see, this is the one. I think this is the part where this girl kind of shows up, and she's sort of challenging him for the leadership. And then we have, I'm trying to think of all the different arcs that are taking place. There's a plague, there is like giant insects, all sorts of craziness. This weird, they're trying to grow their own food if they can. They're in this basically wasteland. There's nothing around the school. There's been some sort of apocalyptic event that happens in the future that they don't quite know, although we do kind of find out the information in volume 8. So these volumes I gave 4 stars to, and the 8th volume I gave 5 stars to, and there's like 3 more volumes to conclude the series. Can't wait to see what happens. Then I read The Strange Library by Haruki Murakami, a really thin little volume. It's described in the back: a lonely boy, a mysterious girl, and a tormented sheep man plot their escape from the nightmarish library. Yes, that's pretty much it. It's a weird kind of binding. It opens up like this, and you literally start reading right here. And it's full of pictures and things throughout that are referenced in the book. Yeah, this young man returns some books. He asks about some other strange topic that happened to pop into his head, and he's led into this labyrinth beneath, and there he becomes trapped, where he encounters the sheep man. I don't know really much to make about this story. What the plot was, the ending. It's just you're kind of drawn into it. You can't stop reading, but I don't really know what I read when I was done. I mean, I'm like, there is that weird kind of confusion with Murakami's books. Like, I'm not sure if I'm getting what I'm supposed to get out of the book. I don't know, but overall I just gave this 3 stars. If anybody can explain it further without any spoilers, let me know. Then I read the entire manga set of Judge, and this is by Yoshiki Tanagi. The rereads I had mentioned earlier were volume 1 and 2. I reread these because I wanted it fresh in my mind, because it had been a while since I picked those up. And then I moved on to the rest of the series. And what we have is a group of people that you see here that have all committed one of these 7 deadly sins, and someone has locked them away, put these weird masks on them. They've locked them away in a warehouse. They don't know where they are, how they got there. I don't think they ever really come to know what each person kind of has done. But our main character, whose name I can't remember now, well, that figures. Let's see. Shoot, well, I can't remember his right name, but it's this guy right here. He has an older brother who has a girlfriend, and he has a crush on that girlfriend. It actually was a friend of his before, because it's more his age. And he kind of lies to his brother, saying that the guy's girlfriend is going to be late to a meeting, because he wants to meet with her and tell her his feelings for her. So I guess that would fall under the probably sin of lust or something. But during that delay, his brother dies because he's in an accident, and he might not have been in that accident if he hadn't been delayed. He would have been somewhere else. So he holds that kind of you know, feeling of responsibility and grief over that. Now, there's some really cool twists and turns. What happens while they're locked in this warehouse is they are forced to pass judgment on each other. There's like a board there with each one's pictures, and they have to pick who they think should die. So our main character is sort of trying to find a way to cheat this thing so that everybody can live. But of course, you know, there's all that fear factor. What if they don't do it? What if they don't do it? You know, this won't work. It'll all fall apart, and maybe I'll get judged, or all that fear and doubt kind of go throughout the entire manga series. And lots of interesting twists at the very end that I didn't quite see coming, except maybe the very, very last one. But that really held my interest to it. I gave the whole series 5 stars. And then the last book I have was probably my favorite read of the month, and that was The Silkworm by Robert Galbraith, aka J.K. Rowling. It's the second book in the Cormoran Strike mystery series. I absolutely love Cormoran Strike. He's a great detective. Just really, really great mystery. We have, what's the author's name? Owen Quine. Owen Quine is an author who's gone missing, and his wife seeks out Cormoran to help track him down. Now, he's had a tendency to disappear in the past, but he's been gone longer than usual. So Cormoran sets out to try and track him down, and comes to find out that he's written this author has written this manuscript that really nobody wants to see come to light, because several people are included in it, although under a different disguise, but they recognize, you know, each other, you might say, and there's some pretty horrible things revealed within this manuscript, and the main character of the manuscript ends up dying a super horrible death, and that's what happens to Owen Quine, and that's kind of revealed in the synopsis, so no big, you know, spoiler or anything like that. But now you wonder if any of those other people that are represented in the book are responsible for Owen Quine's death because of how they were portrayed, and here they've taken his character and killed him off that way. So it's lots of you know, mystery and things. I love the relationship between Cormoran and his, at first, temporary secretary, then permanent secretary, but then perhaps more, because she has a capacity for detective work. She does end up helping him out a couple times, and it's something she's kind of intrigued and wants to kind of pursue, possibly as a career. So we have to see if Cormoran will let her into the business other than just as a secretary. What might hold her back is her fiance, who doesn't like Cormoran, doesn't like her doing that, and of course is concerned with her and everything. But all in all, lots of really interesting characters, interesting plot, held my interest. Love the writing, because of course it's J.K. Rowling. Wonderful, wonderful book. I highly recommend this one. I gave it some 5 stars. So that's my wrap up. I'm going to end it right here. Let me know if you guys have read any of these books and what you thought of them, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.